Hello and welcome back to the casting desk as we're ready to get ourselves into the second series of the day between Ninjas in Pyjamas once again and Basically Unknown. Here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague, myself and Draskell, well, the draft is underway. Let's get you guys into it. Draskell, it's a game which Arise is playing and there's no Magnus at all in the draft so far.
It is Arise, right?
It is Arise. I'm sure it says it's Arise.
So they first pick Queen, which I'm guessing is going to be his hero.
I guess so.
And I think maybe they are trying to adjust more to the patch than trying to play the same style that they always do. And I think that's respectable, right? Like, you have one strategy that you're very, very good at. Take Empire, for example, like a couple of patches ago when they picked the DK and they were doing their Death Ball. That's what Empire were known for a very long time. And then they had to adjust. And once they did, they became monstrously good. So maybe this is the time where Basically Unknown say, okay, well, we're not going to go for the same thing that everybody thinks we're going to do, and we're going to try to play the patch instead of playing our style, which I think is, if anything, it's a learning experience for the people on the team. Try to adjust, learn more about what your team is good at, what they're not good at, and just try to play it out from there. So still, NiP starting off with a very strong opening combo, and the SD and the gyro, but Basically Unknown not really losing out in any regard. I love Disruptor. I actually wish we had seen him a bit more, and it's also great for those heroes like Bounty Hunter that we usually see nowadays as well.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I mean the Bounty Hunter is available if either side wants to pick it up for their off-laner. I don't think we've seen NiP pick up the Bounty Hunter at all. Or did
no,
no, it wasn't in their game, wasn't it? No, it wasn't them picking it up, no. So we've not seen them use it in League play. But obviously we did see the strength of it being used against them, so so maybe they went away and were like, we need to get used to that hero because he's pretty damn good, and well, it's still viable for both sides. I'm still just amazed at the fact that, I mean, not picking the Arise Magnus, it's they really want to obviously try something different. Maybe they will still pick it up later. Quat will move to the off lane.
They definitely
can happen. Yeah.
Yes, we could potentially be seeing the off lane Queen. That is a definite possibility. And again, if that's the case, not going to see the Bounty Hunter. I like the Disruptor Bounty combo because it's so easy to glimpse tracked targets, right? So the synergy is there. Similar to the reasoning why FNG said that when they picked Winter Wyvern, they picked it for the combination of track and Arctic Burn, because your attack range is so long, you can just always slow and go for bonus kills. So they function very similarly in that regard. So now, NiP, they get the first pick here out of the second ban phase, and they are going to go with a Rubik. So Bounty Hunter is actually still very good here.
It's very good, and also talking about very good, that tri-lane from Ninjas in Pyjamas, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying if they decide to go aggro with it, like Rubik, Shadow Demon, Gyro. You basically get lifted out of the disruption, and you're just a goner, like 100%. Now, if it ends up being the Bounty pick, then the Bounty would probably be able to get a lot out of this early game. But if it ends up being just a Queen mid, or a Queen offlane, excuse me, and they go back for the Magnus and then pick a melee core, then obviously that's more Basically Unknown's comfort zone. So either one, I think, is actually very good.
All right, Earthshaker is going to be picked up, so obviously adding to the Wombo combo, and that's a Wombo combo there. The ES, Disruptor, and Queen and Pain. If the fights do kick off towards the mid-game, if Basically Unknown could get that jump in, I mean, I can't help but feel that Magnus would be awfully nice here.
Well, the thing is, you have to be careful not to pick too many good spells for the Rubik to steal. He can already take Queen spells, all of which are good. He can take a Glimpse from Disruptor or like a Kinetic Field, Static Storm. Again, all good. Fissure is amazing to steal. Echo is kind of cool, but it doesn't really do much. It's mostly the Fissure that you want. So if you pick Magnus or you pick Void, for example, in conjunction with each other, then there's a lot more things that the Rubik can freely steal during the fights. And that can be very, very impactful, especially if you have Shaker, Disruptor support. You have some kill potential, but most of it's just going to be like going for roams, I guess, depending on what the offlaner of NiP actually ends up being. And I think Clock would actually be amazing for them right here. Like, just against Disruptor and Shaker, Clock is nuts against these heroes. I
mean, Jonathan Fan, in the game that we saw him, he had a few kind of off-hook shots, but at the end of the day, he was making massive initiations, using the cogs to his advantage, as you were saying, with the 4-star, making a lot of good things happen for the side of NiP. But Puck's going to be the pickup. Could be Jonathan Fan's hero, but at the same time, very likely to be Limp. It's one of those heroes that doesn't really give away who's going to be in the mid, who's going to be in the off lane, so making it just a little bit more difficult for BU to draft against. They're going to pick up the SF, and that, of course, as we saw, is one of the preferred heroes for Arise. So it's looking to be Arise on the SF, and it will be Queen on the off lane. So well, there's no chance of Magnus being picked up now, so a Magnus-free game with Horizon.
Interesting. I didn't think we would end up seeing something like that, at least not so soon. So the way that it's going to work right now is NiP, I think, want to meet the tri-lane if basically unknown.
Okay.
Because Shaker Disruptor is pretty lackluster in terms of lane support if you're not up against a solo offlaner. It's great at being able to zone out a singular hero because Disruptor punishes so hard for bad positioning. Like, you glimpse the hero back in, he gets fissure blocked, you kill. It's very, very easy. But if it's against a tri-lane, and the damage output of Gyrocopter just is way, way higher than the damage output of what basically Unknown's tri-lane would be. And they even ban out the Bounty Hunter. Okay. So they're still expecting that Bounty is possible. Clock,
yeah,
I was talking about picking it for NiP. They ban it out. They don't want NiP to get their hands on it. And I still feel like Ninjas in Pajamas, I really do like their draft. But I also think that basically Unknown, if the Shadow Fiend has a good start and the Queen has a good start, it's going to be a bit rough for them. These supports are going to have to play very, very well on the side of NiP.
Oh, final pick for the side of NiP. What are they going to go for here? I mean, we've seen the SF being picked up. It's almost certainly going to be in the mid lane, so do you think they'll be happy with the puck matching up against that and they'll pick someone else, or do you think they'll pick someone that's going to dominate the lane against the SF?
Well, they can't really pick another mid, I don't think, unless they want to put Puck versus the Queen in an offlane somewhere.
Which is an alright matchup, isn't it?
It's good for the Puck.
Yeah.
But you would want your tri-lane to meet basically Unknown's tri-lane and then have Puck versus Queen, and then pick something else that's good against SF. Viper's already gone. Storm could be a pick if that was their plan, because they only have one hero right now who's really, really good against Storm, and that's Disruptor. And you still have defensive disruption from Shadow Demon as well. And there's also a Puck on your team. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Bloodseeker. Okay.
I think it looks
wasn't expecting that one.
It will be the Bloodseeker mid, you'd imagine, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Could be the solo safe lane if they wanted to run aggressive, but then a Bloodseeker against a Quap, that would not be nice.
No. You want the Puck against Queen.
Yeah, so.
And the Seeker against Shadow Fiend is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks to be what NiP are going to be going for here. It's interesting because I've seen a little bit of Bloodseeker. I think it was 4 Clovers who actually ran it earlier here.
Yeah, Bambo loves the hero.
Yeah, and it does have its strength for sure. Like, you can start an engagement 100% of the time just by, look, I rupture you, the fight starts. Because if you run, you die. If you TP, we just interrupt it with our long-range coil. We have a disruption, we have a lift. We have multiple ways of stopping TPs.
Well, here we go, final pick from the side of basically Unknown, and we are anticipating it to be that position 1, of course, for Nico Baby. Nico Baby is playing. Who's not playing? They're missing their offlaner, aren't they? Who was actually being swapped around a lot because it was
Mind Control was their old offlaner.
And then who did they have standing in instead? It was a guy who used to play for Parage. It wasn't Ditchera, was it?
Who was it? Now I can't remember.
I want to say Ditchera. I think it was It was someone.
He played for PR at some point, right?
Yeah, it was a guy who played for PR. Was doing some standing in, but now...
I honestly don't remember.
I mean, do we know this lad? Do we know Relax? Ring any bells with you?
I think he's actually a known player. I recognize his name, but I'm not sure where
I'm sure Twitch chat or Twitter will tell us during this game. So
yes.
We'll know for the next game.
I will furiously tab out and check to make sure, because there's a little bit of a delay, so...
Yeah, well, we'll see, and well, we're going to see what they're going to be playing here. But I know we're expecting them to be in the Quap, so it's Nico Baby's hero here. He does like the Gyro, obviously not going to be available. Oh, okay. It's going to be the offlane Earthshaker, SF mid,
Shaker.
farming Quap in the position 1.
Oh, farming Quap, okay.
Position 1 Quap and solo lane Earthshaker.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Okay.
Jonas is playing the Bloodseeker, so they're looking to put it in somewhat of an offline capacity, or maybe at the very least in a 1v1.
It was Shashlo. That was it. Shashlo was the guy doing some work for basically Unknown. So they switched it around again. Relax, going to be playing. And straight into the aim on a solo lane Earthshaker. That position where I always said we're seeing it much more than in that support position. And, well, let's go through the rest of the side on... we'll start with basically Unknown, as we've already begun. So Relax on your offlane Earthshaker is going to be a Rise on that mid lane Shadow Fiend, Nico Baby on the position 1 Quap. He's going to be supported by Pure Evil on the Disruptor, and finally Stamanen on the Lion. It is the ASUS at ROG DreamLeague. This is game 1 of a 2-game series here between basically Unknown and NiP. And I, as always, am joined by Draskell. Draskell, what are we seeing from NiP?
Well, first here's Seal Kid, who's going to be playing the Shadow Demon. And next up, we're going to have the Puck, played by Limp. Handskin is going to be playing the Rubik. Era is handling Gyro. And then finally, Jonas is going to be playing on the Bloodseeker.
Okay, and it's kind of worked out fairly nicely for NiP in the sense that it is the position 1 co-op and not the off-lane co-op, because Bloodseeker versus Earthshaker, that lane's pretty good for ninjas.
It's not bad. It
not as bad as a co-op lane.
Yeah. It's much preferable to Queen of Pain, obviously. But the Shaker can actually do okay, depending on if he goes enchant build or he goes the normal Shaker build. But again, that's dependent on if it's a 1v1 or not. It depends, because the level 1 enchant is fantastic nowadays because it only costs 20 mana, and it pretty much ensures the CS. I don't think that Jonas will struggle in the lane, but I think both heroes will farm for a while.
Oh, NiP actually smoking up here, level 1.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about the potency of this tri-lane situation. Maybe they can look to catch someone out. Gyro's gone straight towards the lane, though. It is just Sealkid and Hansken looking for a potential wraparound. Looks like they actually just want to make something happen in the mid lane. At the moment, there are 2 heroes towards the mid lane, both the Shadow Fiend and the Disruptor. Going fairly aggressive onto Puck, and they'll get the wraparound to the disruption onto Disruptor himself. The Disruptor becomes the Disrupted, but nothing's going to come from it, and Sealkid just taking a hell of a lot of damage.
That was a really big misplay. Like, why would you disrupt the hero with, like... The SF was in the low ground, okay? He was in the low ground, and you disrupt the hero who's standing in front of his tower.
Hansken could be in trouble. There's going to be an Earth Spike from the high ground, as the Thunderstrike ticks Rubik down as well, and I've got to be honest, it's just a bit of a shambles from these 2 supports on the side of NiP to start off with here.
Well, fortunately, they do have 1 Sal between the 2 of them, but Sealkid's going to have to go back to base. Like, he doesn't have the health right now to really do anything, so for the next around 30 seconds...
This is left arrow on his own on the bottom lane, and the side of basically unknown know this. They're going to send both Disruptor and Lion towards this with the slow from the dagger. Is it going to be enough for Stamana to follow this free? We'll find the Earth Spike as well. They need a few more right clicks. Actually, telekinesing him forward towards Arrow. Is this actually going to allow him to get the kill? No, brings him down to 12. The dagger ticket is still on him. It is only level 1, bring down 13. One more tick, but the Tango is outdoing the damage from the dagger. Will just keep him alive. He does get himself salved up. But a little bit of a messy start here for Ninjas.
Yeah, not good at all, actually. Arise middle lane, taking quite a bit of damage here. He's only got 3 souls to his name, so Limp is actually doing a very nice job, even with Pure Evil going mid to throw a couple of Thunderstrikes on him and try to get him those early souls. He still has not been able to have the lane that he's looking for.
Oh, the man heading towards the mid lane. Sealkid and Hansken continuing to attempt to be very active. They will be able to secure themselves the 2-minute rune down here. Just only the illusion, so nothing too aggressive. Disruptor making the pause. Hansken will find him. Cuts himself through the trees. Making a beeline straight towards this bottom lane. Arrow's there as well on the Gyro. Just looking to see if there is any aggressive potential. Earthshaker getting very low on the top lane. In fact, he's going to go down. Jonasson fan there finding the kill. Now a couple of points in the old passive, allowing him to give the Earthshaker a very strong rundown. And, well, we talked about the lane being even, but when you're giving away first blood like that, it's suddenly going to be a bit harder for the Earthshaker to stand toe-to-toe with the Bloodseeker.
I think you have to go totem build if you're playing against Bloodseeker, because otherwise, the more damage that you take, the harder it's going to be to fight him, right? And if you don't have enchant, then he just runs you down. So now Relax has just opted out of going back top entirely, and middle lane, Limp doing a little bit of trading here. Just keeping Arise on his toes a bit, but he is starting to recover his souls, and once that happens, it's going to be a lot harder for Limp to bully him in lane. So the more Necromastery you get, obviously Shadow Fiend will eventually pull ahead. Disruption here.
Indeed, on to Stamanen. Stamanen's in a bit of trouble. He has Telekinesis Fate Bolt as well, bringing him low. He does have a stun, but Arrow walks around with a rocket barrage to the face. There's no way that that line's going to be running, and NiP pick themselves up the 2nd kill of the game, 3 minutes in.
Not too bad coming out from the side of NiP, and still, I'm kind of wondering, the Shaker's not really getting a whole lot done, right? Like, they've actually just swapped lanes entirely. They want their Queen of Pain matchup against the Seeker. I don't think that lane should have been so bad for the Shaker, honestly. Like, if he just goes for the normal enchant build and gets, like, even 2 points in it is enough. Because that way, whenever he comes to hit you, just hit him back. Because he does take amplified damage from having the Blood Rage on him. Instead of just letting him run you down, you just punch him, right? And then he can't just kill you. So,
I mean, Jonasson, absolute beast. We're coming to some 4 minutes and he's nearly level 6 on this Bloodseeker. He's having a great time. Connected field will get dropped down. We'll actually trap him.
Dead?
And he's going to have to run, which he certainly will do. Sealkid's there with the backup, but a blink forward from Nico Baby. There'll be defensive disruption protecting Bloodseeker for the time being. He's getting very, very low, but it looks like he's going to be okay. And Sealkid looking for a return kill onto Nico. One more punch would do it, but he can't quite find it. Queen of Pain will be able to get out, but nice rotation there from Sealkid, keeping Bloodseeker alive. And Jonasson fan being aggressive. There's actually a wraparound from Shamanen on this line, and he'll find the 2-man stun here.
He's level 1.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. The two-man stun, no follow-up available from himself, albeit the team at all on the side of Unknown.
This is the patented 0 CS, 1 death, level 1 Lion at 5 minutes in. Okay, now we hit level 2. There we go. All right, well, Invis Rune. Can they actually kill here? Limp still needs quite a bit of experience before 6, so he's not going to have Coil available. I do think they're going to need Coil or Arise to be very far out of position before they're going to be able to take him down.
Nope. And just scouting us out, blocking the pull. Arise.
What a cheeky little bugger. The funny thing, too, about that camp is that most players would actually assume that they just pulled it at the wrong time because it's such a pain to stack properly, right? Like, you think you get it, and sometimes you just don't.
They're going to go for it here. Telekinesis onto Arise. Jonas and Fan TPing and has the Rupture. Arise turns around, gets a few raises off. Bringing hands can low. There will be a stun onto Limp, but it doesn't matter. Shadow Fiend is down. A lot of TPs coming in from Unknown. They'll actually all get cancelled here. Handsken going down to less than 10 HP. Does manage to get himself away, but another kill for NiP, and this time on Arise as well. So big kills happening for the side of Ninjas, and we're looking at the CS as well. Things are looking very good for the Dire.
Getting outmaneuvered here in the early game from NiP, it's kind of ironic because the first movement that NiP did, they messed up a almost guaranteed first blood on Arise, and then one of their supports just has to run straight back to base, and they're still managing to get a much, much better early game than basically Unknown, and it's a bit concerning because your Shadow Fiend needs to have some semblance of a good start if you want to try to get that earlier BKB, which he will need against NiP. Because if you get ruptured and you don't have BKB, you're going to be eating a Rocket Barrage, a Coil, an Orb, Fade Bolt. There's a lot of follow-up magical damage on the side of NiP. So sooner rather than later, you're going to want that magic immunity. And right now, Arise being focused a little bit here.
Fisher out onto Error. And bottom rune will be picked up by Puck. He's got himself a haste rune here. Looking towards Arise, does have the Dream Coil available if anyone wants to help come in. I don't know, I don't think he can bring down Arise on his own. I mean, +1 in the mid lane with the Dream Coil. The potential is certainly there for this Puck at this point.
Yeah, Coil into Rupture, he's dead. Or even just a Rupture, he probably just dies. It just depends on where Pure Evil or the Lion are at that point in time. They do have really good defensive heroes, and they're actually prioritizing Relax now, getting some farm. He's level 6, he has Echo available. I'm not sure if he's going to go for Arcanes before Blink, but I think the Blink Dagger initiation from a Shaker, that's always one of the big focal points for any type of team like this.
Telekinesis cooldown, Fade Bolt, all going down onto the Earth Shaker. Rocket Barrage and Missiles. Relax just walks into it all, takes it to the face, was maybe looking for a position to get the Echo Slam off, but there was no such potential. Now Limp coming in with a haste rune. He's looking for Stamana. Stamana will TP out, and it looks like he will get away. They dropped the Dream Coil too late. Oh, this slight disaster. But Jonas and Fans found a kill. He does give away his life there after diving for the Queen of Pain. Arise is able to pick that up.
That was an optimistic TP.
It was, and an optimistic Dream Coil as well.
I mean, at least walk into the tree line. It was right there. Just walk like an extra foot and then TP, because then Arise has to decide, does he actually go farther in, or is he standing right there and TPing? You have to force the player to make a choice. Instead, he just TPs in vision and just biffs it, so.
Steel Kid maybe getting caught out here as Nico Baby finds a dagger. There'll be a disruption, and Limp has come in. It'll be enough to scare Nico Baby off. He won't be able to proceed onto the Steel Kid Shadow Demon anymore.
Well, NiP still with a pretty strong showing here. Arise, thankfully, he's starting to recover a bit. He's still second highest in terms of CS, and he did just get a kill spree broken on the Bloodseeker. So his game is recovering. It's definitely what you want out of your Shadow Fiend player. You don't want him to be playing from behind if you can absolutely help it. But the longer the game goes on here, NiP getting a slight advantage. There's just been a lot of movement out of this Bloodseeker. So he's maintained a good level of farm. He's gotten a couple of ganks off. I think, he got a Rupture kill mid, then he killed top 1v1, and then he dove to the tier 2 and got another kill. So he has been the most active of anyone on the side of NiP, and that allows Limp to farm more and more towards his Blink Dagger. And once they have that, NiP's aggressive potential is very high.
And NiP's Bloodseeker, Jonas and Fan, gonna go for that straight up Blade Mail, and I guess against a team with a lot of potential burst damage, it's the item of choice.
Well, it kind of just means that if you decide to attack the Bloodseeker in a 1 versus 1 situation and you're already ruptured, you just guarantee lose the fight. Like, there's no way that you can fight through Blade Mail while being ruptured and him punching you. That's the problem. So smoke here from NiP. They're going to be looking for someone. They might walk right into Relax here. Smoke breaks.
They're going to find a Shaker. DreamCall gets thrown down. He's trying to prevent the stun kicking in, but it doesn't matter. He gets blown up. And the gank will be Stamana. It's going to put another spike onto Silk. It has got the Disruptor coming in as well with the help of Arise. They will bring down the Shadow Demon. Line getting very, very low. All four from Limp trying to find a kill in return. Will not find it as he gets glimpsed back here by Pure Evil. Limp in a bit of trouble now. Sonic Wave flies through. The puck will go down. They do end up losing the line here to Jonas and Fan, so it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade, but a trade that I think Unknown will be happy with taking down that puck at the end of that one.
For sure. Keeping him away from his Blink Dagger is exactly what you want at this stage. And of all things, the Shaker actually goes for Tranquil Boots. So maybe he goes back for the Soul Ring at that point. It's usually the item of choice on Shaker. If you know you're not going to get a blink timing, is you just buy Soul Ring with Tranquils because it's the cheapest and most effective form of sustain. Like I don't want to go back to base if I can help it. I just want to be available to throw out my stun and ulti on whatever I can find before I actually have my Blink Dagger available. So definitely a solid choice coming out from the Shaker player. Still, NiP maintaining a pretty good amount of control, but the Shadow Fiend is going to become a problem. Shadow Blade at under 11 minutes. With a death, Arise definitely, he is like the standout player right now and basically Unknown, at least in my opinion. He always has at least a decent game.
Yeah, he really doesn't. We'll see what he's able to achieve here with the Shadow Blade. Teeping into the mid lane, pops it straight away, wants to go for some action here. At the moment, who have we got on the mid lane? It is Limp, but Limp backs himself up, keeping himself frosty. And Rise won't find anything here. So going to head up towards the top lane. Error and Silkid at the moment hanging about. Rise will have the support of Pure Evil. And also, of course, Relax is still hanging around here on the Earthshaker. Still has that Echo Slam, waiting for that opportune moment to use it. Maybe if Rise can get an initiation, can look to go for something.
They can just fissure into Requiem, honestly. Yeah. Like, if there's no sentry in lane, all Arise has to do is walk up. And then if they don't notice the presence of the Dark Lord and the creeps, then he just goes for a Requiem kill.
Well, I do have a sentry just south of this, and their eyes will walk into it. They know that he's there. Error. He's running. He's running. Jonas and Fan thinking about a rupture here. There's Silkid as well. Arise turns around with the razors onto Error. Not going to be enough. The homing missile won't connect, but the cooldown will. The silence and the rupture from Bloodseeker going on to Arise. Arise getting low does go down here. The Dream Call onto 2 as they TP out after the Dream Call. They will escape. But the side are basically Unknown, losing Arise, and that dire sentry ward doing a lot of work there for NiP.
That was really unfortunate that Arise ended up walking that way. Like, I totally understand his mentality is like, I want to try to get a solo kill. The thing is, he didn't even have level 2 Requiem. So level 1 hits for around, like, you gain 50% more damage, basically, from going level 1 Requiem to 2. And that ensures that no matter who you find, it's just a guaranteed boom kill. But unfortunately, he gets caught out. And I think he'll probably just go back to his farm game. Because there's not too many of those kind of deaths that you can give away as Shadow Fiend. You need to like take that as, okay, I got set a little bit back. I'm going to go back to farming, try to secure my BKB, because that needs to be his next item. Like, he needs treads. Like, he might finish Silver Edge. Yeah, close TP there. Handscan managing to get away. But yeah, the SF next item, I think, should be BKB over all else. And that way, when NiP come knocking, he can actually just BKB and fight.
Oh, there's going to be TP in. Error throws down the cooldown. There will be a glimpse, bringing the Gyro back and trapping him in the kinetic field. Arises Shimano here as well. There's nowhere for Error to run. He will go down. As they do find themselves the kill, they also are able to deny the tower here on this top lane.
Yeah, really nice rotation there. Just realizing that with the Disruptor, they can pull the Gyro out of position and just get that very, very easy kill. And I think Era's kind of in the same boat as Arise. They're going to need those BKBs just to be safe, because there's so many disables on basically Unknown side. Like, you have Lion with double stun, you have Shaker with a stun, Disruptor can put you in kinetic field, you can get glimpsed. There is so much to have to worry about.
It's 8 for 4 at the moment, but yeah, the side of Basic Unknown is still very much in this game. It's a 4,000 lead in terms of net worth, 2.5 in terms of XP.
Whoa, Midas Gaming. Queen of Pain. I think he's taking this one role thing a little bit too seriously.
Okay, focusing on the farm and focusing on getting those levels out. It's not something that you'd normally expect to see from a quad.
Yeah, Midas Queen is one of those things that I've always struggled with. Like, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Like, the Queen gaining levels is actually very good. There's no disputing that Queen being level 16 is a bad thing. Like, you do want to get there. Not only just for the ulti, but because you want your Blink and your Shadow Strike maxed out at the earliest possible point. Higher mobility means more kill potential, less chance to get out of position and get ganked, you know. There's a lot of benefits to it. But he is insanely squishy Like, insanely squishy. 750 HP. If that puck gets a Blink Dagger...
Mid lane. Arrow caught in a Static Storm. It's not quite enough to bring him down with that Glimpse, though. Can they do it? The ball's being popped by Arrow. That's going to be enough to top him up. And that was a Static Storm, and the finger dropped onto the Gyro, but they couldn't bring him down. Bottom lane, the fight's kicked off here. Sealkid and Lim need to run. I mean, goodbye Sealkid as a Sonic Wave flies through from Quap, as Hansken going down there as well. It's a double kill.
They want to try to clean this up. There's the Bloodseeker going down. Lines have been drawn here. They know he's on his way. There is no TP available from Nico Baby, but it is Queen. Question is, do they actually want to try to bait this out? They're going to get spotted by the creep wave.
Oh, they know where Nico Baby is, and the Rupture will follow through. They do not want this court going anywhere with the silence kicking in from the... Oh, the that is a big Requiem from Arise, finding a double kill onto the Puck and the Bloodseeker. I think they'll be happy losing the Quap for getting that double kill onto the SF and maybe more. Echo Slam straight up onto Hansken with the Enchant Totem as well. Hansken, he's dead. Hexed up, triple kill for Arise. And you said that Arise was the hero that we could, well, the player we can expect to see the performances from, and this game he's certainly performing. Top of the net worth at the moment, and just those involvements are massive for the side of Basically Unknown for this SF.
The thing that's the most heartbreaking about that engagement is Limp was like 50 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Oh. So, I mean, he's still very close, but not having the Blink there, a little bit unfortunate. I think if he had just been able to Blink on the Queen in the woods, then he would not have been in a position where the Requiem would have ended up killing him, you know, because the Fissure might not have actually hit him, and then there's a lot of ifs or buts, but still, NiP very much in the game. Bloodseeker kind of doing his farm thing, trying to get towards that BKB. He's still 5-2, so Jonas having a very strong performance here on the Seeker. Just as time goes on, man, that Shadow Fiend's going to get closer to buying BKB, and once he gets it, Shadow Fiend is one of those heroes that, with magic immunity, he already hits very hard from just having Necromastery, and he has a Shadow Blade at a very early stage in the game. So his fighting potential is going to be through the roof, and he might even break this smoke here from NiP.
Yeah, we see the side of NiP all rotating around by the Ancients. In comes Arise.
Oh, Sentry
Arise, down. You don't want to fight here because you are going to get caught out by the full team of NiP. Tries to walk it off, but there's no escape for this Shadow Fiend. Everything and the kitchen sink getting thrown down onto SF. He's down. That's a big pick off there for NiP.
Most important thing, Rubik stole mid-range Shadow Rays. That is the big win for Rubik.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower.
I know you're trying to watch for a team fight, but you could have at least pretended that I was here, Owen. Never mind.
Was it a joke? Was it what was?
I just got left out to dry. It's no big deal.
I was trying to think, is Draskell being incredibly insightful here, or is he making a joke? Is mid-raise good? Am I an idiot?
The fact that you had to think about that is why you're still 3K.
What? I'm still. What's wrong with mid-raise? It's good.
I was making a joke. It's okay. No worries.
Dire's bottom tower is
so was it important?
It wasn't important at all, Owen. I was just messing around.
Draskell, I look up to you, and now I don't know who to believe anymore. I look to you as my teacher.
I mean, obviously killing the Shadow Fiend, who is like the most farmed hero on the team, doesn't matter. It's all about the mid-range race.
Oh, I see. I see the joke now.
I was like waiting a really long time for you to respond because I was like, he'll get it. He'll pick this up.
I wanted to be very careful what I said because I didn't want to come across as an idiot, but it looks like that happened anyway. So, well, that's gone. That plan went down the drain. They're going to find pure evil here as he gets it absolutely deleted. 12-9, NiP. As the game continues and well, we're back. We're back.
We are back.
So you threw me off there with your wit, Draskell. I wasn't expecting it.
It wasn't even like clever. It was just something that was like ridiculous to say. Like the context was terrible. So maybe that's why you just didn't respond in the first place. But it's fine. We're done. We're over it.
We're done. I'm done.
Everyone's done. We're checked out.
Everyone's done.
This is when you start spamming baby rages.
Baby rages?
Yeah.
Why baby rages?
Never funny baby rage.
That's how it's easy. What's that got to do with this?
It's still a baby rage.
Is it?
Yeah, I would say so. All right,
maybe back in your day on Twitch chat, Andy, but nowadays, things have changed.
Back in my day? What does it even mean? How old do you think I am?
Back before Twitch chat was just chat without video streams. You know?
Oh, God.
That was with the old kind of, you know, ASCII text-based streaming games. That was the stuff. But anyway, what's going on here? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Things aren't looking too awful for basically Unknown. 9-12 at the moment. Yes, the Bloodseeker is top of the net worth, but Arise on his Shadow Fiend is fairly close behind, and he's looking pretty strong at the moment. He's got the Ogre Club, 500 gold on his way towards that Mithril Hammer for the BKB, and once he's got a BKB on him, he should be able to do a fair bit in these team fights. Blink Dagger also picked up for both the Lion and the Urge. This is big for basically Unknown.
Yeah, having the finger available as well. They just need to go back to base, get some mana. Gonna have an Echo Slam for the next team fight. Hopefully a Ravage Earth Spike coming out from the Lion. But still, NiP, they're not in a terrible position either, because the Seeker has the BKB finished. And that means that he can just YOLO into a fight.
Gyro's got his BKB now as well.
Yeah. So the BKB timings, the blink timings, they're all pretty much on point prior to 20 minutes or just about at that mark. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more action coming out from NiP at least. Like with a Blink Dagger Puck and BKB on both your cores, you can really look to start forcing some fights. I think they would also like to get Roshan under their belt if they can. And they are definitely looking to try to find something.
Yeah, come on, let's have a bit of action here. NiP and basically Unknown, they're all grouped up. Basically Unknown, they're smoking up. Arise leading the way with the Shadow Blade. Limp blinked himself backwards here. NiP, they're going to smoke up as well. Wrap around towards the mid lane potentially. Are they going to look straight into the Radiant Jungle? Looks like they're just going to look... No, their spider senses are tingling. As they will go towards the mid lane, but at the same time, basically Unknown, they're wrapping around by their own Ancients. Doesn't look like anyone's going to get caught out here for the time being. Oh, here we go. Error. In his way. Stamanan's hiding around by the Ancients. The rest of the side of base, Stamanan's kind of all on his own here. So he's not actually going to be much use if a fight does kick off. There'll be a TP from Bloodseeker back to this lane, and the wraparound potential from NiP is big here. Limp blinking forward, throws the Illusory Orb out onto Pure Evil. The Bloodbright is going to catch out the Earthshaker. There's not going to be any Echo Slam today. He goes down. Oh no, he's still alive. In fact, the Disruptor's been the first to fall here. They're looking for the Earthshaker here up at the top. He looks to TP out, and he won't make it. The homing missile connecting just in time. NiP's wraparound ends up successful. They take 2 heroes down from the side of Unknown.
Still a pretty nice fight. They did commit a couple of 10-second BKBs. They get a support, they get a Shaker, but he kind of just bought his Blink Dagger, so it wasn't too bad. If they had killed Arise, I'd say it would have been like huge, because delaying Arise's BKB is, I think, one of the highest priorities right now for NiP. So for the moment, they're going to be pressuring the Tier 2 tower. The Shaker will be up in about 10 seconds. They're even going to use Glyph for this, so maybe they are looking to try to push them back. And I think NiP are going to decide better of this and just try to maybe position themselves for Roshan. When they take a fight like that, you push everyone back on their side of the map, and you kill 2. So if they want to walk right to the pit, they can do that and force basically Unknown to come to them and maybe look for another nice positioning team fight and then see if you can maybe get Roshan after the fact. Did Era have lifesteal, or is he buying it? Yeah, he has it now. Okay, so they might actually try to bait Roshan here.
Okay. Yeah, they could certainly go for it here. They've got everything online apart from the Dream Coil, the side of Unknown. They're still waiting for the Static Storm to come back available for Disruptor. But they're positioning himself around Roshan into the Radiant Jungle, just seeing if they find any stragglers on the side of Unknown. And basically Unknown, they're going to smoke up, and they're going to make a beeline straight for the Roche pit here. 3 members of NiP are in the Radiant Jungle. They're missing the Bloodseeker and the Rubik for this engagement. If the side of basically Unknown catching him out, and looked like Seal Kid. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble. He's dead. He gets absolutely wiped away. Era will be able to back off, but this might give Unknown the opening to look for Roshan, and certainly seems to be what they're going to do. Now the TP's come out from Rubik. Rubik heads towards the mid lane, and we do see the Bloodseeker head to the side shot to pick up the TP.
This, though.
They need to make it there quickly. It's already down to half health here. The Roshan Limp, frozen orb forward. Bloodbright comes down as well. Oh, he's not going to follow through that orb, just scaring back the side of basically Unknown. And just letting them know that they're not going to let them take Roshan without a fight.
Yeah, the Bloodseeker Bloodbright inside of the pit is actually very dangerous.
Bloodseeker?
Oh, the blink hacks.
This is not great for Jonas and Fan.
Wait, what? He didn't stun.
He's got a BKB.
No, but Stomanen had stun. He just didn't stun. And now they're going to lose their queen.
Mika baby, yeah, that's Dead Queen as he takes a Fade Bolt to the backside. Handskin finishing off the quap there. And, well, a little bit of a messy engagement there for basically Unknown, as you said, just being unable to constantly disable the Bloodseeker and giving him that window to pot the BKB. And now the TP's coming in the bot lane. Arise has been ruptured up. There'll be a glimpse onto Era, but Era pots the BKB, ensuring that he's not going to get sent back to base. Jonas and Fan goes straight in, but he's straight into a Static Storm. Arise getting lows. Era comes in with the BKB. And right-clicking him down. Arise trying to keep himself up. It's not enough. He goes down. They're also going to lose the Disruptor here. Looks like on the left side of this fight, also Earthshaker going down. 4 heroes dropping on the side of Unknown. NiP do lose the Bloodseeker, but with the 4 of them down, with lifesteal on Error, this could be the opportunity for NiP to take Roshan uncontested.
Yeah, it's taken quite a bit of a beating as well from basically Unknown. So NiP going into the pit here, and that is exactly why that Arise needed his BKB.
Yeah.
He got ruptured. He Shadow Bladed, which essentially gives him immunity without there being detection. But the problem is the Bloodseeker had Blade Mail active when he Requiem'd, and then he also ate a Call Down and Rocket Barrage. But if he had BKB there, he would have been able to just stand and hit. And there would have been very little option for NiP to click him down because their physical damage output isn't that great if the Bloodseeker and the Gyro aren't both hitting the same target. But unfortunately, his item timing has not quite been what he needs it to be in this game. And NiP securing the first Roshan of the game here at 25 minutes. Gonna be pretty happy with that.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
I still think that basically Unknown are okay. It's just, the Queen now has BKB, so he went Midas BKB. It's a really weird build because normally when you make Midas, you don't immediately build an item that says you want to fight. You typically build something else that's greedy, and then maybe you go back for the BKB. But this could just be a choice of respect to NiP and saying, I don't think I'm going to get the room to farm a luxury item. I just need to be able to go in, blink, BKB, and then just absorb damage or just go for a big ulti.
Nico Baby takes a very easy tower there. One blink forward and a one right click. Extra gold into the pocket of the Quap. Well, looks like basically Unknown, they'll be content with just pushing this one out. At the same time, NiP starting to get a bit of a force going down this mid lane. At the moment, just Arise and Stamanen here on the high ground in the mid lane. The rest of the team just looking maybe to take a tier 2 and maybe just looking for a trade here if NiP continue to push.
Now the trading is kind of tough though for basically Unknown. They don't have their right clicker here. Like Arise is the one who allows you to actually trade. I guess Nico Baby does have quite a bit of attack speed with his Treads Midas build.
Well, it's going to be hard for Unknown to stop this one, but NiP looks like they want to stop Unknown. So the Anderson fan goes in, but he will get glimpsed back. And will not be able to defend that tower, and that might give the possibility for Queen of Pain and Disruptors to finish that one off. Puck goes back, he's learned from the mistakes of Bloodseeker, TP's back to the tier 3, and wanders into lane. Mid lane, Arrow will get a Hex up. Fisher as well, he's getting low, and oh!
That damage amplification from Blood Rage is the real deal.
That BKB was the real dealer. And now, Yule's onto Pure Evil, the stolen Fisher, Orb to finish off the Disruptor. All in all, some positive play here going for the side of NiP. A tower down in the mid lane, not losing anyone off the back of the push. Clearing off the Disruptor and stopping the push from Unknown on the top lane.
Yeah, all in all, NiP seeming to be on the same page this game, understanding what they need to do. The BKB has now come out from Arise, and he's going to be level 16 soonish. So once he has level 3 Requiem, the team fight from basically Unknown isn't bad. Like they have 2 Blink Initiators, they have an Echo Slam level 2 available, Queen ulti. Like the potential for a good team fight is there. It just depends on who gets the good jump. Now, basically Unknown have been getting outmaneuvered for quite a while now. NiP just always able to kind of pick a hero, get Roshan, then push into a tier 2 tower. They don't even end up losing their own safe lane tier 1, as you mentioned earlier. They're just getting these little edges everywhere. And eventually, in Dota, that's really all it is a game of very small decisions that end up snowballing into a much, much bigger picture. But for now, I think that NiP are going to maintain their advantage unless basically Unknown manage to find a good fight. And that's going to be tough with the Gyro still having the Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the XP at the moment. It's coming up to about 10,000 advantage here for the side of NiP, which isn't the biggest advantage that we've ever seen at this point, but it's a sizable one, and it is a consistent one that Unknown have been unable to swing back in their favor for the last few minutes of this game. But still, net worth-wise for the individual players, Arise is up there on top, and he's on par with the Gyro, and Quap is also very high as well. It's just a fact that, of course, this Earthshaker offlane hasn't really worked out in the terms of getting that farm under his belt. He's on the same level as the supports in the game, obviously with Lion and Rubik. Lion and the Disruptor also being on the side of basically Unknown. But I guess he's got his Blink Dagger, and as an Earthshaker, you don't really need that much to still be very impactful in the team fight.
Yeah, Blink and Force are like the 2 major pickups that you're ever going to see on a Shaker. Sometimes Glimmer can be good too, just to allow yourself to go in, but he doesn't have the mana pool for Glimmer, so he'll need to buy something that gives him mana first before he goes to buy that item. And NiP actually just falling back here, going back to the farming phase. They have a gem on their puck, so they're able to deward pretty much everything. There's no vision at all on the side of basically unknown, whereas NiP have a couple of wards, one aggressive ward, one near the top rune, and they're going to have a little bit of a vision advantage, which at this stage in the game is still very important. Just having a little bit of information can be the difference between taking a great fight and a horrible fight.
And here comes the push from NiP. Top lane. They found the creep wave momentum back in their favor, and they're ready to fight here if the side of Unknown want to try and contest this. But the side of basically Unknown, they're just looking to split push themselves, going for the bottom lane. And the whole 5-man heading that way as well. So it looks like potentially just another trade here between the two sides in what's become quite a passive segment of the game. Neither side directly looking to engage with each other.
Yeah, I think it's better for basically Unknown that it stays this way though, because they still need, I think, a little bit more before they're feeling comfortable taking these fights. Nico, baby.
Indeed, getting caught up by the Static Storm will be dropped to avoid the poke from jumping in. Sonic Wave onto Jonas and Fan, deleting the Bloodseeker. Arrow with the cooldown and Limp coming forward as well. They're trying to chase down a Rise, but he still has the BKB. Will pop it and turns around here with the Requiem of Souls that catches out Era. Turning around with a few A's. Oh, relax with an Echo Slam to do. This is going great for basically Unknown. 3 heroes have died. There's been a buyback from the Bloodseeker. Unknown losing no one. Limp will be able to blink himself out and orb himself down away from the rest of the team. A Rupture will catch Pure Evil on the back of this fight. He's going to look to TP out with the Blood Right coming in time. No, it won't. Pure Evil is able to escape there. But the fact that he's low, given that boosted movement speed here to the Bloodseeker, he's trying to chase for more. Nico able to look to TP out. Stamanen throws a finger out to Limp. Great play there from the line, bringing down the puck. He does pay with his life. Maybe Relax does as well. BKB has been used by Jonas and Fan trying to chase it down, but a blink away and a TP out from Earthshaker is successful. The whole fight ended by believing was 4-for-1 with the buyback from the Bloodseeker there. But all in all, very nice stuff there for basically Unknown.
Would have been a lot cooler if he had managed to secure that gem. But I just want to say that line has 3,000 gold. That line has 3,000 gold after that team fight. Good God. That is a lot of money. The question is, what does he go for?
And does he need to get a 4-star himself this game, or could he afford to go for that good old Aghanims?
A force on other heroes besides the Shaker, I don't feel like is as good because you're up against the Seeker. Oh.
Bloodseeker? He bought back here. He's shot.
Oh, he can't lose the gem. If he loses the gem, that's so bad for them.
It looks like they don't want to go from here.
No, they can glimpse him still, but he got silenced by the Blood Right, so never mind. Yeah, I think maybe they could have gone for that, but again, the lack of vision is really hurting basically Unknown. Like, they don't actually know who is on the other side of the river, so instead of just going for that almost assured kill, they're forced to back off. Wait, he bought a Yule's, sold it, and then bought a Force Staff instead. Okay.
He's an indecisive guy. Queen of Pain. He's got the Cypher Vice now on top of that BKB, so...
Yeah.
I mean, in these fights, who do you think he'll be looking to lock down specifically? When the
hexing the Gyro or the Seeker or the Puck. Like, any of them is good. If you're going to hex the Puck, it needs to be before Coil and Silence. Otherwise, it's like, why hex him? And then the Gyro and the Bloodseeker are simple. If they haven't BKB'd, or even after the BKB, just hex them anyway, and then try to go for a kill. It's a bit tricky, though, because the Shadow Demon can disrupt if he's paying attention. So you're kind of relying on multiple things to happen. Like, you can go in with the Lion and the Queen simultaneously, go for like a disable on 2 different heroes, and that way the Shadow Demon has to choose who lives and who dies. But I guess you could also BKB, blink, and hex the Shadow Demon, which allows the rest of your team to get a free opening, more or less, because there's no save at that point.
Now, explain this one to me, Andy. Jari picked up a Demon Edge, then he went back and he picked up an Ultimate Orb.
Lincoln's maybe? For the blink initiation?
I guess it could be. Axe has now been picked up by the Puck, so going to do a lot of nice work against all these BKBs that the side of Unknown have.
It is so good. The thing is, if you get Ruptured and you get coiled with Aghanims, it's like you can run away to try to get out of range. You can BKB and get punched, or you can get stunned. Like, there's nowhere to go, really. It's very, very frustrating to play against.
Arizona on his own here, and well, they're going to capitalize on this. They go straight in with the Hex, the stun, and the Sonic Wave finger. Gyro goes down. There'll be TPs coming in, blink away from Hansken. Relax looking for him in the sidelines. They've not quite found him. He's hiding away in this tree line. Hansken. Oh, Stamanen. They need to go a little bit deeper. Oh, he's going to be able to blink. He's blinked out. He's revealed himself here, Hansken. He will get out. Echo Slam onto Limp. They blow him up before he's able to do anything this fight. Jonas and Fan trying to do what he can against Arise, but Arise just TPs out. And he's not going to make it. Oh, we do see Jonas and Fan bring him down. Nico Baby looking for Hansken. Static Storm gets thrown down. Nico Baby and Pure Evil trying to get themselves back out of this one. It's a 2-for-1 trade here. Unknown do lose the Shadow Fiend, but they get 2 cores from the side of NiP in trade. So a very nice fight yet again for basically Unknown.
And that's why he's making a Lincolns. Just in case anybody was wondering. Because if that happens, you can't live, like no matter what, unless you, I guess, have like a full Satanic or something. I don't know if he goes back for... I know Era does like his Scotty, but I don't think Scotty is the item here. I think if you get Hex like that, you're just dead to rights no matter what, unless the Shadow Demon is in position to save you. So having a Lincolns would essentially protect from the instant initiation of the Lion. You can still mana drain into Hex, but it does take time, or you can blink 4-staff Hex. So I don't know actually, why did he get an Ultimate Orb? If the Lion already has 4-staff, then the Lincolns is already kind of nullified by that.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 4-staff on the Earthshaker as well, so they've got a lot of ways to dispel the Lincolns.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually. I mean, Manta is not really that useful. Scotty gives you a lot of health, but it doesn't really give you the damage that you're going to need in the late game against the SF and the Queen. Interesting. I'm actually curious as to what he makes.
Well, we'll find out in a bit. Era, he's racking up the gold here, was clearing out that ancient stack as well. But now in terms of net worth for the individual heroes, it is Quap and the SF leading the board at the moment, both Nico Baby and Rise, which can be expected obviously with Quap picking up that early Midas. And now with the plate mail, does he simply go for the Shivas, or in this position 1 Quap, could we maybe see an AC come out on the ladder?
AC is actually really good with the Shadow Fiend. Like the presence of the Dark Lord in conjunction with AC Aura, it's like -11 armor for the entire team. It's a very big deal when nobody on the team of NiP are making armor in the first place.
Smoke into smoke. Era's got a double damage.
Yeah, it's gonna go down.
Yeah, they're going for Roche here. Now, well, no, they... Oh.
Okay, the smoke broke, so they know they're in the pit, right? They have to know.
Yeah, Fisher catching out Lim. And that looks like it's going to be enough to spook NiP back out of the Roche pit. Basically Unknown and NiP both backing away from it for the time being. They don't want to fight then, either side.
Pretty spooky stuff, actually. The thing is, NiP actually have the advantage because they have double warding around the pit. Like, they've actually overlapped their vision very heavily here, but they can see everything that's going on. So the fact that they decided to back off is interesting. Like, at the very least, you could have maybe baited it. I mean, there's no way that basically Unknown can see in the pit right now. You have a sentry there, you know.
Oh, and they will. They're going to head into the pit here. Are they going to try and commit to the Roche attempt?
Dire's top tower
They're thinking about it.
attack.
Well, they don't have any hero with lifesteal, so it's kind of hard to commit to that Roche. Like, a Rise needs a Dominator or something if they're going to do that, and I think he's actually going to buy a full Scotty before the fight kicks off. He needs the Courier to be the base, though, to pick up his Ultimate Orb and his Orb of Venom.
There we go. It's on the way out to him now. NiP, though, they're looking for blood once more.
Is under attack.
Coming out across the river into the Radiant jungle.
Tower is under attack.
Basically Unknown, they're still hanging around, all grouped up as a 5, both sides in fact here. Ready for a full 5-on-5 engagement. Nico Baby might be spotted out by Lim. Oh, he pops the BKB straight away. Lim goes in. Quap goes out. Hand scan. Oh, blinking forward, trying to catch Nico Baby post-blink. Isn't going to be the case. He's got the blink for himself here, though.
It's a fun game to be Rubik, actually. A lot of really good stuff to steal here.
Looks like they'll go for Roshan now, NiP. They're content with the space that they have created there. And is indeed going to be the Era Skadi on the Jara.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself that Lincoln's would have been useful maybe before the Lion had his 4-staff, but after seeing the 4-staff, it's like, there's not really a point to buying it. So Scotty, I guess with the damage amplification of having the Blood Rage from the Bloodseeker, makes Scotty I guess a more optimal choice, because you gain the effective HP from the Scotty itself. You already hit really hard because of Blood Rage. So you just tank yourself up a bit. You make it so that even if the SF BKBs, you can chase him down with the Scotty slow. Same thing for Disruptor, Lion, even Shaker. So it isn't a terrible item, but we'll see if it pays off for him.
Yep, they've got the Aegis and they head straight towards the mid lane, and basically Unknown hanging around on the high ground looking for a jump in. Relax, of course, has got that Echo Slam if NiP group up here. Era's out on his own at the moment, but does have that Aegis. Where's the initiation? They're desperately looking for it. Unknown. They're just... they're not going to find it though. NiP. They go back towards the bottom lane. And Unknown will just continue to clear out the jungle and maybe try and get the push going on this top lane now.
I think the fact that right now the gyrocopter is being relied upon to be like the ultimate hard carry, right? Like you have the Puck Aghanims, but you also have Flat Cannon with Blood Rage, which I think is the main reason why they picked the Seeker in the first place. It's kind of similar to what 4 Clover did, but they're actually using it for more AoE than anything else. And I think the combination of the Flat Cannon and the Blood Rage is very strong. But Era hasn't opted to go full damage. He's kind of going like this hybrid build where he's going to have a lot of HP and he's going to do okay damage, but he's not going to hit super hard. Although I guess against the supports of basically Unknown who only have like 1,000 HP, maybe that's enough. You know, maybe they just die to flak.
Maybe indeed. And then NiP going for the tier 2, but basically Unknown, they're looking at the tier 3s of the Dire side, looking to push up to the high ground here as Arise gets ready to go. Basically Unknown, they're going to have to back up here. Radiant will fortify their structures and so will Dire in return. Limp here leading the defense. Now the rest of the TPs come out. Basically Unknown, they're going to stand there. Waning Rift will catch out Arise and Nico Baby. Hands Ken gets the lift onto Arise, brings him forward, but BKB's going to be popped. He's looking for a Requiem of Souls potentially. The rest of the fight kicking off at the backside, where Disrupt has been taken down by Jonas and Fan. Jonas and Fan looking for more. Arise has been stunned up through the BKB. Jonas and Fan goes down to a Sonic Wave. It's a 1-for-1 so far. The side of basically Unknown still standing pretty strong. Limp and Jonas and Fan buying back here, trying to get themselves back into this defense. Arise still standing there, panning away at the racks. Will get caught out now by Limp. Arise will almost certainly fall here. He does pop, he goes down. Now the rest of the side of basically Unknown trying to get themselves out. Lion will TP away, but the Yule Scepter, no, it cancels it. He's going to get held down. The homing missile stunning him, it's going to hurt. Oh, it's going to hurt.
God.
Through that ghost form. Blows him up.
That was a 735 damage homing missile. He was Ghost Sceptered and there was Blood Rage on Era.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage. I don't think I've ever seen a homing missile hit that hard. For those of you out there who are wondering how hard it normally hits, it's 375 damage with base magic resist. So it hit almost twice as hard as normal.
Well, the base is defended. NiP, of course, did have to expend 2 buybacks there on both the Bloodseeker and the Puck. But they're ready to go straight aggressive in return. Down the mid lane, they go.
Can they force a buyback, though?
That's the question. I mean, Arise is still down for 30
Era's
seconds.
still got Aegis.
They could go for it.
Yeah, there's Scotty up on Era as well. Nice fissure block here. Not going to keep Era out of attack range, but it will stop the creeps from dealing some damage to the tower.
He's going to make the jump. Era's being blood raged up. Relax. He hasn't got... How long till Echo Slam's available again? Still 40 seconds. Of course, the fact that there is no Aghanims on this Queen of Pain means that Sonic Wave, how long will it get down the cooldown for that one? It's probably going to still be a while until we've got that. Yeah, 35 seconds still before we have that. Oh, Era getting forced up high. Stamanon will find the Hex. Yeah, I'm going to be able to follow it up, though, as Era backs himself back out.
Yeah, Aegis still has a couple of minutes left, so NiP have some time if they want to just chill out here, get some more damage on that tier 3. If the tier 3 dies again, it becomes a lot easier for NiP to just siege the racks. And I think that could be seeing a fight breaking out here. AC was the choice, by the way, for the Queen of Pain.
Oh, nice force, and this time they might be able to catch her out. There's a defensive disruption, though. Telekinesis onto Arise. He gets silenced up and ruptured up as well. We'll put the BKB Echo Slam there, holding Era in place, bringing Era low. He will go down once, but he's got the Aegis. He's back for round 2. Jonas and Fan will get Glibbs back into it all. Static Storm as well. The Bloodseeker will fall. Now Era trying to fight up against Arise. Limp coming in as well, but Stamanon, he hexes up Limp. The finger as well is not enough to bring down the Puck. Era put the BKB, but he goes down. Double kill hit to Nico Baby. As the buyback from Arise comes out as well, and now Unknown, they want to push down the mid. They know that the Bloodseeker brought back last fight, doesn't have it available now, down for 90 seconds. And Era as well, he can't buy back. He's down for a full minute. This is a massive window for basically Unknown to push in.
Yeah, I think they could potentially get racks. No buyback on either core. Like, that's a huge problem. 40 seconds still on Coil. I mean, they're going to lose a tier 2 for sure. And I think they probably just go... They can go top where the racks are actually... Or the tier 3 is already dead. Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Okay, and here we go indeed. Straight up to the top racks. Trying to strengthen those lanes of creeps. Still 30 seconds before Era returns. Jonas and Fan, he's sitting on the sidelines for 50. Now it's going to be the top racks going down. Now can they look to take more? They've still got a fair bit of time. Onto the mid-tier 3 they go. And the side of NiP, they just don't want to fight as 3. We see the Puck trying to pull the creep wave away here in the mid lane. And it's not going to be enough. Side of Unknown will continue to be able to get it up to the high ground. And
they do have time. I actually think backing here is overly safe. Like 25 seconds left on the Seeker. Maybe they thought that he had buyback still, But didn't he buy back to defend?
He bought back in the last fight.
So I'm actually...
they know he's not
they could have gotten
yeah.
a tier 3 there, I think. But they're playing it super safe. I guess that's fine. When you're playing against a team that you respect, you don't make the super risky play.
Yeah, and I mean, Arise did buy back, of course, for that push. So if they lost him there, then it could certainly be turned on its head, and NiP could be pushing on their base.
Yeah, definitely. But still, this Queen, like we talked about the Midas choice a little bit earlier, when you get to a 45-minute game, your Midas is going to be worth the pickup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's now come and gone the stage where we can question if Midas was a good choice.
Look at the net worth difference compared to the highest farmer on NiP.
Yeah,
it's massive.
He is loaded. He's got 4,100 gold. I would even not be surprised to see him pick up like Desolator or like MKB or Crit or something like that. Like for the cost, Deso is probably the highest damage increasing item he can get, just because he already has AC and they already have presence of the Dark Lord. And it's also great for sieging the base.
And we see on NiP, Limp, he's got a no good club. Wants to get himself a BKB this game, and we see the advantage that NiP have lost this game. There was a fair bit in the mid game that they had, but now as we move on to the latter portions, it's looking good for Unknown. They're recovering very nicely. Error now on top of the Skadi. We'll expect him to finish off that Demon Edge into something at this point. But I don't know, man. It's looking pretty scary for NiP here at this point.
They're going to need a really solid smoke or somehow contest next Roshan or win that team fight.
Yeah.
The longer the game goes, I think the Shadow Fiend is going to start becoming more and more of an issue. He's probably going to be working his way towards a Butterfly or any kind of damage item. And the Gyrocopter's progression, like still, he hasn't finished up his own MKB yet. The Queen now on basically known, it just went full refresher, like he just bought a refresher. Obviously great if you want to make sure that you can have double BKB, 2 hexes, 2 ultis. He does have the mana for that too. And NiP here inside of basically Unknown's woods, trying to make something happen. Again, there's no vision for basically Unknown at all, except for the one ward at bottom rune. And otherwise, they're just totally blind. Stomanon's like living life on the edge here.
Almost certainly will TP out here. Yeah, blinks himself to safety in the sidelines. And has the TP if he wants to pop it. The side of NiP indeed wrapping around this bottom lane. Cutting off the creep wave as well. And, well, 47 minutes in coming up. 21-25 between these two sides. Still a very close game, and just one little mess up could spell disaster for either of these sides at this point.
I still favor basically Unknown just for the sheer fact that the Bloodseeker core, it's not really that great in the ultra late game because you have to make yourself take more damage against 2 ranged heroes, and the ranged heroes, one of them has a Skadi. So there is always the opportunity that you can get kited around during a team fight, and your BKB is going to be shorter and shorter, which for a melee hero against mass disable is like the worst thing in the world. Like, you do not want that to happen. And now there's even an E-Blade picked up on this Lion.
I mean, they're going to be blowing up heroes, and these are heroes as well. I mean, looking at the BKBs, what are we down to in terms of timing on arrows?
I think they're 5.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
5 seconds all rounds, is it? Or 6 seconds on Arises. What about on the Quops? Down to 6 as well, and Bloodseeker is on 5 also. So the BKB time is getting low, and well, that's the position where Lion's going to be pretty damn happy.
Yeah, I think basically Unknown are more reliant on their spell usage than NiP. Like, NiP have the Gyro and the Bloodseeker to rely on that deal a pretty good amount of damage. The Rubik's going to have to steal, like, a bunch of really good spells. Like, hopefully he can get Sonic Wave, maybe he can get Static Storm or something like that to drop on top of a coil. There's some ways that NiP can outplay the team fight, but for now, I definitely favor basically Unknown's 5 versus 5. And even their ability to, like, split push with the Queen, having so much farm, being very hard to gank. Like, that's another thing we haven't really talked about. Killing Nico is so difficult at this point. It really is. Like, they have to, like, blink, initiate, and then drop a coil on him, hope that he blinks in a place that you can see him before he pops BKB, and then just tries to teleport out. But otherwise, there's, like, no way.
Yeah, I mean, we saw on the graph there as well. At this point, the game's back to square one in terms of difference between the sides. It's a bit unfortunate for NiP because they've obviously thrown away quite a huge advantage. But I don't know if it's necessarily down to their mistakes. It's just down to the fact that basically Unknown in these fights just playing out a little bit better, and the strengths of their heroes being a little bit more apparent.
I think the mid push was kind of where NiP fell apart. When they lost to Era 2 times, the rest of their team had to run back more or less, and they couldn't really do anything about it. That was really, really painful for them because they took a really nice move in getting the Roshan in the first place, and then the Aegis didn't really do anything. So instead of being able to break high ground, I'm unsure of if the Skadi is really the item that he needed this game. Like, if he has BKB and evasion, then having the Blood Rage damage amplification on yourself isn't as bad, because you're not really getting hit by any magic damage except for the Queen ulti, and then you can just sit there and deal even more damage output by having a Butterfly instead of a Scotty. So I don't know if that item has held them back, or if it was the better choice. That's like the only thing I can think of that is kind of questionable here.
Smoke up from the side of NiP, and Roshan is available. This, again, as we tend to see in the majority of the games, is going to be the massive point of contention here between the two sides. Error on the high ground. He's going to get spotted out. Stamana will find the Hex into the stun. There'll be a defensive disruption there. Blink forward from Limp gets a Dream Coil and a massive Static Storm in return from basically Unknown. They brought down the puck. Nico Baby and Arise just doing so much damage. Error pulls the BKB, but it doesn't matter. He goes down. They've lost 2, they've lost 3. They're going to lose Jonas and Fan here as well. It's 4 heroes down on the side of NiP. Basically Unknown only losing the Disruptor. And they just can't fight into it.
They do not have the damage. And the thing is, even with the Scotty, Error is just not tanky enough. He needs somebody on his team to buy like a Solar Crest or something like that, because there's no MKBs out on the side of basically Unknown yet. There could be soon though, considering the big swing that we just saw.
This is bad for NiP. There's an Aegis on Unknown.
Oh, GG.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. I was gonna. Yeah. No buyback on the puck. It's not much more to be said. It's game over.
Yeah.
Game over. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I don't know if Butterfly would have changed the game, but I think there would have been a better chance that Arrow would have been able to carry against the Shadow Fiend and the Queen, because the Queen went right-click items, right?
Yeah,
he bought
AC.
Midas Treads, Hex, AC. That's all right-click.
Yeah.
But they didn't have MKBs. So if you go Evasion, then the minus armor isn't quite as powerful. Like, sure, you get a tiny bit of armor, like 3 armor from getting a Scotty, but having that 35% evasion, or even having somebody on your team with a Solar Crest, could have been the difference between Era just sitting there and right-clicking the entire team down and him getting slaughtered, which is what happened when he walked high ground in the last engagement. Now, even with Limp landing, I think, a 4 or 5-man coil, no one had to move. It's just like, it doesn't matter if they don't have to run out of the coil. So at that stage, the coil was not really the threat that I think he wanted it to be. But very well played by basically Unknown. They managed to, they stopped that one push mid, and then it was just like, everything just fell over for NiP.
It really did. I mean, there was a massive advantage for NiP in the mid game, but it just totally got taken away from them. And basically Unknown, impressive play from the guys there. Yeah. And I think you said it at the end, nice Dream Coil, but straight away, Disruptor throws down the Static Storm. Suddenly, NiP are kind of questioning, do we want to fight into this? And they hang about, and Shadow Fiend and Quap just stand in the Static Storm in the Dream Coil. They don't need to move out. They just need to stand there and click people. Yeah. And it works out. Basically Unknown there, taking the second game of League play, which is good because I believe they were 7 for 1 before this series. So now it brings them to 7 for 2. And they've got a second game, a second chance to take another game against NiP. And, well, it's going to be an interesting one, as it will be the last game of the day here at DreamLeague. But we'll send you over to some commercials and our host panel to give you some insight on that game. Myself and Andy, we'll see you guys later for the final game between NiP and basically Unknown.